Um, oh,
Yes, we are live. What's going on? Peace and blessings, family. We are here with another episode of Casket Ready. It is your boy, Mr. Life, and we got real estate right in the building. Welcome. Now, today's topic is no policy, no partnership. Just give me 1 second, guys. But in the meantime, Rod, you can go ahead and get right into it.
yeah, man. So just talking about no policy, no partnership. So pretty much what that is for our entrepreneurs out there, you should have a business policy. If you're doing business for yourself, if you have employees, or if you have a business partner, you should have a policy. I mean, let's think about it. Imagine if you have a business, you have a business partner, everything is going great, and something happens to your business partner. How do you actually replace that income?
Mhm.
A lot of people don't have that answer. And the reason they don't is because they don't have what's called a key person insurance policy, where if something happens to your business partner, your business is still covered. You don't lose that revenue that you were making with your other business partner. So even though they're gone, similar to life insurance, you have the money to not replace their life, but to replace the business that you lost.
Yeah, but replace that production because every business, right? Every business has an owner, they have a manager, they have that one person who is crucial to that business. Without that person, it's gonna be hard for that business to thrive to the next level. So that person holds a lot of value for that business. So that's the reason why that special person should have a policy. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, I'll give you guys an example. Let's say if at a restaurant, right? You have the owner, you have the manager, you have the chef, you have your waitresses, waiters, your cashiers. But the most important person there outside of the manager and the owner is the chef. Without the chef, that restaurant it's going to be hard to run. The chef makes the best wings. He makes them lemon pepper wings better than the ones at Wingstop, right? He makes some good food. And so without his expertise in the culinary arts, that restaurant is doomed. So if something were to happen to chef, God forbid he passes away, how is that restaurant going to continue to thrive? And because people come there for the good food. So what's going to happen to that restaurant? That the owner of that restaurant is going to lose a lot of business because the chef was the reason why people came to that restaurant. What up, Letty? Shout out to you. So that's the reason why the owner would get a policy on the chef. The chef would be the insured, and the owner would be the beneficiary on that policy. So if, God forbid, if chef passed away, now the owner of the restaurant, I'm sorry, yes, the owner of the restaurant can now find a new chef that can replace the chef, the value that the chef brought into that business. So that's what the key person insurance is all about.
So let me simplify it.
Mm.
Since technically you're my business partner and
Ah.
we have a key insurance policy,
Mm.
if you were to accidentally fall on the steps, I could get paid.
Um, to a degree, yes. To a degree, yes. The way you put it, probably not.
Listen, I said accident. I didn't say on purpose. You
Okay.
know, if you just so happen to be standing at the edge of the steps and I bumped
Mhm.
into you by accident and you fall down
Yeah.
and not survive or survive and end up being disabled, we could, I could get a check to replace your production. But guess what though? At the end of the day, you still survive, so you get a piece of that money too. So even though you're disabled, if you survive, you get a check as well.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, right? Because there's two different types of insurances. So you got the key person insurance, which is mainly for like an employer to an employee kind of relationship. And then you have what we call a buy-sell agreement, which is very similar to the key person insurance. Now, with the buy-sell agreement, you have partnerships. just like me and Rob, we're business partners. What up, Kia? What's going on? Shout out to you. We're business partners. So in this situation, right? If I fell on them steps, Ra's going to get a certain amount of money. He's going to get what, let's say if we had $100,000 policy, Ra's going to get the $100,000 policy because I'm the beneficiary on his policy and he's the beneficiary on my policy. So we're taking out policies on each other so that if anything happened to one of us, either one of us, the other person can continue to run the business smoothly, right? I hope that makes sense. So that's the buy-sell agreement.
That makes sense. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Kia, Legacy Builders, Letty. Shout out to everybody. But no, that's important though, man, because a lot of times as business owners, we don't think about that type of stuff. We don't think about, hey, what if something happens to my business partner? We just think about, hey, we'll be able to move on. But there's policies in place to replace their production, like you said, replace that money. At the end of the day, if the business is making $500,000 a year and your business partner is responsible for 350 of that, and you set the policy the proper way, you're going to get that 350 up front to replace their production. You know what I mean? Which is massive, which is crazy. A lot of people don't look at it like that.
And that's part of like that should be part of a person's like business plan, their business strategy to when they're starting a business, because there's some people who don't have a business, right? And this is like something that should be part of your business plan, is making sure that you protect the business that you're about to start. And if you already had a business for a few years and it's starting to pick up as it should, right? We opportunists over here, we're optimistic. As we see it, people are going to make money in their business. You want to protect, the hard work that you put in by making sure that you have something in place for your business just in case something does happen. There's different types. So like we just spoke about key person insurance. We spoke about the buy-sell agreements. There's also group policies that if you're an employer, if you're listening to this and you're an employer, that means you have people working under you. It is wise for you to make sure that you get some type of coverage for your employees. As a matter of fact, most people when they start jobs, right, they actually have to, when they're filling out their forms, 9 out of 10 times you're going to fill out some type of life insurance form. Why? It's going to protect you, and to be honest with you, more importantly, it's protecting your employer. So if something were to happen to you, your employer was to make sure that he or she is not held responsible for you. God forbid something happens to you on the job, right? So it goes so many ways and it goes deep. Now I'll even bring it a step further. Now when I was talking about the chef at the restaurant, right? Now the chef, I'm pretty sure he or she has a family. He or she has a spouse, has kids, right? So now if, God forbid something happens, not only does chef have a policy, but now the owner of the restaurant can now take care of chef's funeral. The owner of the restaurant can now give, some money to the family of the chef so that they can somewhat start over if something would have happened to the chef, right? And then guess what? That policy is going to come with some cash value. And who knows? Chef might want to get a bonus, and Chef is going to want to know where this bonus came from. That came from the cash value from the policy because you've been making Chef made so much money for the company. Now that owner saying, we did such a great job, I'm giving you a bonus, and it doesn't have to come from the revenue of from the business. It can come from that life insurance policy, that cash value that built up over years. That can go to Chef's pocket because he's doing such a great job with the business, and he has cash value into that policy.
Yeah, and even on a deeper level, to piggyback on what you said, imagine if that scenario happens where your business partner passes away or gets disabled, and you no longer want that responsibility to take on the business. You can now cash out and also sell the business and cash out at the same time. Like, hey, I don't want to do the business anymore. My business partner is not in this. My heart's not in it no more. Let me at least cash out and sell a business so you get double the money, and provide for your business partner's policy. And let's talk about it. This also opens up the conversation that who do you want to leave your business for? Meaning that if you have a part business partner or partners, if something happens to any of you, or you just get old and that time calls everybody, who are you leaving the business for? So a lot of times when we have these conversations, it opens up other conversations. And a lot of people don't think about that. Imagine you put in all this work. We have this fabulous company, you know, makeup names, Legacy Builders Agents LLC. They're
Mhm.
great. They're massive. They create legacies. They're worth $10 million, and now everybody's gone, and the
Mm.
legacy just dies. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it is having these conversations, it's like, hold on a second. We got key insurance, and now we have other things in place, like the wills and trusts. Let me leave it to our kids. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Our nieces, our nephews, so they can carry it on and continue to monetize what we're doing, making money off it. It's like
Mm.
a rap artist where when the album is still going and the family is still getting paid. Imagine Jay-Z passing away and none of his family reaps the benefits because he didn't have these type of policies or something in place to make sure that his family gets to reap off of all the stuff he created.
Mm. And to even to piggyback off that, to take it a step further, now there may be some family members who may not even want to take on the responsibility of running or to continue to run that business, right? So, we're not going to leave that full responsibility in the family members' hands because the truth be told, they may not want to do that, right? But to your point, what's important is still leaving somebody responsible enough to still make sure that for one, that family is going to reap some benefit financially, right? And that's the reason for the wills and for the trust to give these proper instructions to see who gets what and when. And it's still our responsibility as business owners while we're alive to educate the masses and still educate our family of like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Because to your point, if we leave people money and they don't know what to do with that money, it doesn't matter that we left it to them. They're gonna just, you know, waste it. Our 10 years of hard work is gonna be wasted in a year tops, if
No,
that makes
it's
sense.
it's 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 the it's the real truth, and it
Mm-hmm.
comes back to the topic we always talk about. It's actually okay to benefit from someone's death.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to benefit from someone's death. I know people look at it in a negative light, but you're actually supposed to benefit from someone's death. They're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to leave something behind for you at the end of the day. And with these policies, the top businesses out there, they have these policies on their employees, meaning that if they lose employees, they're going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So it is designed to help your business because you're actually losing that production and you're going to benefit off of their death, and you need to replace their production. They're not one and the same, but they're pretty close. Meaning that, hey, you have an employee and they did a great job, and God forbid something happened and they died or they passed away or got severely disabled. As the owner, business owner, you're gonna get paid, and you already provided group policy coverage for that person's family, so his family's gonna get paid or her family's gonna get paid, and as the owner, you get paid, and
Mm-hmm.
now you get to never replace their life. That's a serious thing, but you get to hire somebody else so your business can continue on and get a chance to even grow or improve your business. Because although that person might have been a great worker, you never know where, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but might have been able to hire a better worker that
Mm-hmm.
produced even more. So now it's like exponents.
Mm-hmm.
Remember three with the little four on top? You know what I mean? It's like, it's
E to the fourth
exponentially.
power.
Exactly. There you go. See,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm getting no. I can't.
yeah. Oh God.
Woo.
That's funny. But yeah, no, but I mean, and that's the real thing. And like I said, I love normalizing these conversations. We don't have them enough. And because it's the inevitable. It will happen. It's just a question of when and how will it happen, right? So, and this is the reason why they say if you stay ready, you never got to get ready. This is what it's all about. It's we it's about one morning peacefully, right? And then also the replacement game of financially, what value did this person bring to your life, to your family's life, to a business? It's that person brought some type of value, and that value needs to be replaced with dollars. Because once all the morning slows down, the reality hits of what's going to happen to this business that he or she worked so hard for. What's going to happen to the business? The thing about business is that a lot of people are affected by one business, because it takes multiple people to run a business. So when one person is out, especially a key person, when that person is no longer there are multiple people slash multiple families that are affected by the key person not being there. So that's why it's super important to where, if you are a business owner and you're listening to this message, make sure that you get a policy for yourself and for the most valuable player, the MVP player of your business. Because God forbid if something happens to that player, your business will take a hit for sure. There's no doubt about it. You know, we got anything in the comments? Let's read some of these comments real quick. Shout out to everybody in the comments. We got Letty, we got Kia, we got Tawana. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. I'm gonna check on the other side. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to my boy Ryan. What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. Let's talk more about it. Key insurance, buy-sell agreements, group policies. Let's talk more about it, guys.
Yeah, Kay, just go over a little bit like how much these policies typically cost.
Got you. All right, so these policies, it's a range. It's a range, because we can get a term policy, we can get a permanent policy. So it can range. These policies can be as affordable as $30-$40 a month. It can go up to $300-$500 a month, based off of your business, based off of how good your business is doing and how much you're willing to spend on a policy. So that's those are the ranges right there. It could go even higher. I'm just giving a ballpark figure, right? And the reason why that's important is because you also want to protect the value of your business too. So, like, let's say if your business is bringing in, 100,000 a year, $250,000 a year, whatever your business is bringing in, roughly that's how much coverage you would want to have on your business, if that makes sense. Because you want to protect that key person, and you want to protect, the ins and outs of what it costs to still run and manage a business, if that makes sense. Right. So if your business is making $250,000 in a year, get 250,000 worth of coverage for that key person, because that's still the type of value that person would have brought to the business in the first place. I hope that makes sense.
No, that definitely makes a lot of sense. You want to get the right coverage to cover
Mhm.
you no matter what happens in a situation.
And then also we got final expense policies as well. So, final expense policies, they're also affordable. It's not a lot of coverage, but it's still part of the replacement game, to where if something were to happen to that key person, at least for one, it'll cover their burial expenses, and then at least enough to where it'll buy time for the business owner to find that replacement, to find that new person who can now help the business thrive again.
And then think about it too. Like at this point, with this type of insurance,
Mm-hmm.
again, it opens up the doors for a lot of conversations of different types of insurance that you need, because
Mm-hmm.
now you're protecting the business. And a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to insurance, everything can be protected, everything can be insured. A dentist
Mm-hmm.
leg is insured, athletes are insured, contracts are insured. Why wouldn't you want to insure your business at the end of the day? You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, you're driving around with a car with no car insurance. Now, if you have a new payment and something happens to your car, it's a problem. If you can't replace it, you can't get to work. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same concept, where if someone is producing, or that other business partner might be a high investor, and what happens in that particular situation where you lose that investment piece that's coming in?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's another thing to think about.
I didn't even think about that. But you're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I mean, to your point, there are investors who help make the business thrive. And if that person is gone, yeah. Get a policy on your investor. Absolutely. Insurance policies are important for your family and your business. Protect everyone it pays off in the end. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Judy. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, it's crazy because we was talking about this earlier. That's why, and this is all theoretical, right? I'm a little conspiracy theorist, so I believe that's why a lot of these rap artists, they get policies, or the record labels, they get policies on a lot of these artists. And a lot of these artists, a lot of these rap artists these days, a lot of them be passing away. And I know these companies, they be collecting from these life insurance policies. I know it. Like it's and it's not a fact, but that's how it looks, to be honest with you. And they're not completely wrong, to be honest. They're not completely wrong. These record labels, they've invested hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in these artists. And it's unfortunate that these artists happen to pass away due to whatever they was into, and now that record label is reaping back that money that upfront money that they put out there to help that artist become who they are.
To your point, what we got to realize is that your business partners, and if your business has employees, they're investments. And what do? We protect our investments. Nobody doesn't just not protect their investment. So you got to understand that, or people should I say, got to understand that you definitely got to protect your investment at all times. You know what I mean? Like, just like you protect your kids. Your kids are your kids. That's just how you protect your family members. It's the same concept. Everything needs protection, including your business partners, and business employees. And hold on, what's this guy asking right here? Have you heard of what? What's this?
Seed 4K project by seed phrases. You gotta go a little bit more in depth, bro. I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about. Yeah.
Throwing tongue twisters up there. Hold on.
Yeah, kind of explain what you mean by that.
Why is the C deck? What's it called? C deck?
I have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to Google this real quick. What are we talking about real quick?
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat though, for real. But yeah, but once again, in the meantime, man, while Roz go ahead and looking that up real quick, this is what it's all about. Getting protection. Protection is love. And that's the key. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, this right here, pretty much what he's saying right here, though. C deck insurance is referred to two things: the warranty that comes with C deck products, or the marine insurance for boats that C decks installed. Yeah, that's a little different. It's another form of insurance, so it's a real thing. I had to Google it and see what he's talking about real quick. I was like, hold on, C deck. No, you said,
yeah.
Figure it out.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's definitely insurance. I'm not going to dive into that part right now, just because it's a little off topic. But definitely, you go to the website and check us out, and we can have a conversation about it, stuff like that. But yeah, man, I mean, what are some other important reasons off the top of your head for key insurance? I mean, the person's family, probably, I would say. At the end of the day, the person's family, because if a policy's in place, I'm pretty sure your business partner is going to, provide money to that person's family to help them get by, on top of them also having additional insurance. And again, it just opens up the door for the conversation of all aspects of your business being insured. It opens up the conversations of talking about wills and trusts. Who's your business going to get left to? What percentage? Who get what? And with these policies as well, a lot of the carriers we work with, they come with trusts. And then we also do wills. So everything is protected full circle around at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And the truth be told, I always joke around, man. Like, you ever see them old school movies where they roll out the TV and they play the video of like, what did my father leave for me? And they put on the video, somebody leaving a video recording of a will, and you know what I mean? Jason got the house, this person got that, and one person got a hat.
Said a hat.
This is the same concept. Like this right here opens up the conversation to really let you know how people feel about you. And the truth is if you have a business, and it's okay if you didn't know, if you weren't aware, but now you know you have a business and your business partners are watching this and you guys are not getting insurance on each other, kind of let you know how they feel about you. If you're being honest. kind of lets you know that they don't care as much about you as you think. You know what I mean? Because what happens to your family? What happens to everybody if you're not protected? You know what I mean? That's the real topic.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I know pretty much we're coming to a close. We're coming to an end at this point. Any last minute comments, jokes, concerns, any events we got coming up? Anything we got going on for the rest of the year, or are we pretty much, are we done for the year? Or
Nah, man,
what's going on?
we talk. It's December 1st. We got, what was it, 31 days in December or 30?
Yeah. 31.
31. Okay, you know, someone must be off. You know, February got 28. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. But no, no. But this year, so we have one more. We have a couple things going on. I know we have a speaking engagement on December 13th coming up. I think one or two more things popping up for the year. So speaking at a couple places, but we're done for direct events that we're throwing for this month. But speaking events, and you know, one of the messages is anybody that has a business or has a business partner and is curious, or anything we said that piqued your interest today, go to our site, book a consult so we could talk about it. So you can get a quote. You see how much it costs, see how affordable it is. Because there's different variations of the policy to protect you, your business, and your family. So I would just say just go to the site and check us out. Let's have a conversation about it. You owe yourself it, and honestly, you owe your business partner and your employees at the very minimum just to at least have the conversation and get a basic quote.
And shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Seymour, man, hit us up on the site, man. I need to know more about this CDEC project. You know what I'm saying? I need to learn more about that, man. That's different, you know. But yeah, let's talk more about that. If nothing else, thank you guys for tuning in. And once again, here at Legacy Builders, we build together to grow forever. We appreciate you guys tuning in every single Monday night at 7 p.m. If nothing else, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great night. Peace.